is the distance formula video. The distance formula is derived or created from the Pythagorean theorem. To find the distance between 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2, all that you need to do is to use the coordinates of these order pairs and apply the formula pictured below. So when you're given two coordinates, you label them x1, y1, and you x2, y2, and then you plug them in the appropriate spots here. Okay, PEMDAS. At the end, you'll have a number under a square root, and you either factor tree or leave the answer as a decimal if whichever one you're told to do. Alright, so the first thing you should do is label your points x1, y1, and x2, y2. That way you can plug them into the formula. Alright, so the formula is written over here. Okay, so go ahead and start plugging in. So x2 is -7 minus x1, which is -2. You have to have both subtraction. You have to have this from the formula, and you have to have this negative from the point being negative. You have to have both. Plus y2 would be -7 minus y1, which is 3. Alright, and then you PEMDAS. When you PEMDAS, you do inside the parentheses first. So I'm going to do inside both sets of these parentheses first. In this first set of parentheses, a negative and a negative is really a plus. So we really have -7 plus 2, which is -5 squared, plus -7 minus 3 is -10 squared. And of course this is all still underneath the square root house. Okay, then PEMDAS tells you to do the exponents before you add. So you will do -5 squared and -10 squared before you add anything together. -5 squared is -5 times -5, which is positive 25. Okay, if you're going to use the calculator, you have to put these parentheses in or it's not going to work. Okay, it'll tell you the answer is -25, and that's not true. A negative times a negative is a positive. Plus -10 squared, -10 times -10 is positive 100. And of course that's all still in the square root. Okay, so 25 plus 100, that's all we have left to do, is 125. And that's still inside the square root. Alright, so if you put that in the calculator, you will get about 11.1803 blah 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 blah. Okay, so if you're told to leave it as a decimal, that would be your answer. If you're told you have to factor tree, you're going to have to go over here to the side and factor tree 125. 125 is divisible by 5. 125 divided by 5 is 25. 25 is also divisible by 5, so 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay, circle your pairs. In order to come out and play, you have to have a buddy. If you have no buddy, you have to stay inside and pout. So this set of 5s can come outside and play because they have buddies, they're buddied up. And this 5 doesn't get buddied up. Okay, it's not groups of 3, it's not a cubed root, it's a square root. So you have to have groups of 2. So the group of 5s get to come out. Alright, so your answer would be written with the 5s, the group of 5s on the outside, and the leftover 5 would be on the inside. Okay, these 5s would go out here, and this 5 would go on the inside. Alright, in this example, they give you the coordinates but in a picture. They don't actually give you the number values. So you just need to count your coordinates off of the picture, and then you can label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug them into the formula. So for this point over here on the left, okay, I'm going to count left, 1, 2, 3, so that would be left 3, and up 1, 2, 3, up 3. Okay, this point over here on the right, again, I start at the origin. I'm going to count to the right, 1, 2, and count up, 1, 2. So that point would be 2, 2. All right, so we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And then you can plug them in. So x2, we said was 2, minus x1, we said was negative 3. Again, you have to have both negatives. This one came from the formula. This one came from the fact that negative 3 is negative. Plus y2 is 2, minus y1 is 3. And then squared. Of course, that's all under the square root. Then you start PEMDASing. So when you PEMDAS, you're going to do inside the parentheses first. So in this first set of parentheses, we have 2 minus negative 3. Two negatives really make that a positive. So 2 plus 3 is 5 squared, plus 2 minus 3 would be negative 1 squared. And of course, that's all in the square root house. Okay? Alright, so 5 squared. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25, plus negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. If you're going to use the calculator again, you have to put these parentheses in the calculator, or it's going to tell you the answer is negative 1, and that's just not true. Alright, and then 25 plus 1 is 26. So square root 26 would be your answer. Okay? If you're told that you can leave it as a decimal, you would put square root 26 in the calculator and get 5.0990 blah 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 blah. So if you're told you're allowed to have a decimal answer, that would be your answer, 5.99. If you're told you have to have the exact answer, that means you need to do a factor tree. So you would come over here, put your 26 and start factor treeing it. 26 is divisible by 2. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Okay, and then 2 is prime and 13 is prime. So nothing comes out of the square root. I don't have anything to circle. I don't have any buddies. So if that ends up happening, then your answer is just what it is. Square root 26 does not simplify. So if you're supposed to leave an exact answer, you'd leave square root 26. If you're allowed to give an approximate answer or a decimal answer, it'd be 5.99.